Good evening, folks. It is the Put Your Kid to Bed version of the Sports 2.0 Network show. I am Rodney Newpel along with Tim Air Jordan Van Stratton. How are you tonight, Timothy?
Definitely my nickname. No one has ever used it before. I'm doing well, Rodney. Thank you for asking. How are you doing?
I'm worn out today, Tim. I'm worn out. I am excited. The show's rejuvenating me a little bit tonight, but I'm worn out. A lot of sun. You know, here in Central Illinois, I know you and I are both here in Central Illinois. It's hot. It's really hot.
It's been brutal. Yeah, I went golfing at 10 in the morning yesterday, which that's well before it gets the hottest in the day, but it was still like close to 90 degrees, not an ounce of wind. Like it was just rough. It was rough all around.
Yeah. Hey man, we got to get our intro in. This is the Get the Kid to Bed version USA Wager show right here with Rodney and Tim. Settle for that one tonight. That's the short version. We don't want to go the long version of it tonight. We're gonna go with
Is it because version. Tanner's working on the new intro to make me a host and not a panelist? I hope
maybe. That could be it. That could be it. You're right. I don't know. I just went with the short one so we could spend more time talking sports tonight. I know we've got a lot of great sports to talk about.
Talking about the shitty 10-year-olds that you've been coaching. Let's get into it. How bad are they, Rodney?
My team.
Legitimate question. Like, and I don't want you to have to get in trouble at all, but are the 10-year-olds today better, the same, worse than like what we were at 10 years old? Legitimately, because like when we were 10 years old, Rodney, like we didn't have, smartphones and things distracting us all the time. Like we loved getting outside. I just feel like it's different now. And I don't know if kids are like really wanting to put in the work to become good ball players.
Yeah. I mean, it depends. I mean, there are days. I mean, we played four games in like 36 hours, and that it was hot, man. It was hot. And we played a tournament. It was pretty tough, competitive schedule, and it was pretty hot. We won our first three, lost the fourth one. So I mean, whatever. But I don't know. I mean, I think to a point they're probably work as hard as our generation. I don't even know if you can consider you and I in the same generation, though, bro.
We're absolutely in the same generation.
I'm like 10 years ahead of you.
We're absolutely in the same generation. We're both millennials. I think you're just part of the older group of millennials, and I'm just in the younger group of millennials, but we're definitely in that same thing. I ain't Gen Z, bro. If that's what you mean, like that's what's underneath. And I'm pretty sure Gen Z is like mid to late 90s. I ain't one of that, man. Don't trip.
Hey, rule number one.
Yes, of course. We took a break on Wednesday. You were already, drunk, smoking your cigar in Florida. I had gotten a lot of sun that day. It just didn't work out, but we're back now, so that's good.
Back, rule number one. All right, let's get started a little NBA, and I think let's go first question of the night. Let's go. Are the Nets in trouble? Question mark. Are the Nets in trouble? James Harden is out. Now Kyrie Irving is hurt. Are the Nets in trouble? ... Question mark. What do you say, Tim?
I mean, they have to be, right? And I know that the Kyrie MRI initially came back clean, but even if it's clean, even if he avoided anything serious today, he still ain't 100%.
Yeah.
Harden, if he does come back at any point, isn't 100%. Nope. And the Nets are a team that sacrificed a lot of their depth to try to put this group of stars together. The Nets now have shown during the regular season that they can win without all three of them on the court. That's how they played most of the year. But against Milwaukee in what is now a best 2 out of 3 series, it's not nearly as much of a guarantee as, we did the show on Wednesday. We said lock it in. They're moving on. But yeah, I think they have to be in a little bit of trouble now. It's not good. 2 of your 3 best players are playing under 100%, and I think Milwaukee's feeling really good about themselves.
It's so funny how sports work because we do these shows on Wednesday and Sunday, and it feels like what we say on Wednesday here recently. I mean, we're not sports like. I mean, we love to talk sports, but like our predictions have really been pretty bad.
I mean, you had the Lakers just waltzing their way to the finals.
Yeah, let's be honest. Our predictions have been really bad.
Yeah. Well, again, this goes back to our first ever show where we said no nerd talk. So we weren't going to do advanced stats and metrics. We're not pouring through the data to make these predictions. A couple weeks ago, I was looking at the golf tournament and I was like, this feels like a John Rahm week. And he would have won without the COVID test on Saturday. So like that's just how we roll here when the kids are in bed.
Speaking of that, the U.S. Open is coming up this week on Thursday. So I guess that means Wednesday night. Let's go ahead and talk a little U.S. Open action.
Heavy golf talk, Rodney. I'm excited. For those that don't know, Rodney and I like to collaborate on every major tournament, put together some DraftKings teams, and we just let it ride. More often than not, I think we actually end up in the plus, which is amazing considering how little research you and I both do.
None. I pick a guy, you pick a guy, and it's like literally we put teams together in like 3 minutes over text.
And it's the same guys for you too. I try to sprinkle in a little variance, but you're just like, Phil, JT,
hey,
Xander,
Woodland. Gary Woodland. Yeah, hey, but I got some guys that compete pretty well.
I mean, it works. It works.
Yeah, every once in a while I'll spread a little Kevin Na or Zach Johnson in there. But anyway, so yeah, we'll talk a little U.S. Open later in the week as that is coming up. Moving to the next question: are the Suns the new title favorite? ... Question mark.
Well, it's not over yet, but they're up by 5 with about 8.5 minutes to go. They're going to win this series. Okay, we know that. I think, generally speaking, I've been more impressed with them than I have been with Utah.
Yeah.
And if Brooklyn is not healthy and unable to make it out of the second round, I probably would say Phoenix is the best team left.
Why are we disregarding Philly?
That's a good question. And honestly, I don't know. Something has just felt off. And I know that they've done a lot like in last offseason to add shooters, but Danny Green is one of those shooters who's now going to be out for the next few weeks. That's a killer. So it's really, to me, it's like Joel Embiid. You hope that he just eats, because if he doesn't eat, then you're putting the ball into Tobias Harris's hands. And as good of a player he is, he's not someone that can carry a team to an NBA Finals.
Right. Ben Simmons plays pretty good defense.
Yeah, no, Ben Simmons is great, but like Ben Simmons is incredibly limited. And it's an obvious limitation. So I don't know. I've always said Philly's a good team, but just I've never really considered them to be like an actual NBA Finals contender.
And while we've been on, I know you've got it on the TV. So Jokic got kicked out in the third quarter. And since that point, actually, the Nuggets in the fourth have outscored the Suns 13-5, which would be an interesting. I mean, obviously, the Nuggets are trying to stay alive here, so they're playing with all desperation possible. But I struggle to see a final 8 minutes without him and them actually making this comeback. I think they're gonna flirt, but it'll be interesting. I don't think they're gonna end up coming back. But I'll let you keep us updated on that in the next 22 minutes. But so then. Philly's up at 2-1 on Atlanta. Brooklyn and Milwaukee are tied 2-2, and Utah is up 2-1. Clippers
Clippers rolled yesterday.
Yeah.
That's fine. It was the first game back in LA. I think Utah has shown that they're the overall better team in that series, but I don't know. I'm starting to think that the Clippers sort of like being down in that 0-2. I think Kawhi just brings it up to a different level, and him and Paul George combined for a crap ton of points the other night. So
yeah, they're pretty good. Hey, let's move to the ice real quick.
Yes.
Are the Islanders, I should say, the most likable team left? Let's rephrase that. Are the Islanders the most likable team left? Question mark.
Yeah, that's a big one. Likely team left? Probably not. Likeable? I will say yes. Now, this is kind of a random thing, but I was thinking about this Final Four. So let's just run through it, Rodney. Is there anything inside of you that's like, you know what, those Tampa Bay Lightning, those defending champions, those people who maneuvered their way through the salary cap, they're definitely the team I'm pulling for.
Well, the only reason I would pull for Tampa Bay, I got one reason.
Is it like family ties?
No, Patty.
Maroon. Patty Maroon's got he's got a couple now.
And I got a little Tampa Bay love here. But no, I don't care. Yeah, Patty's won 2 in a row. I do like Patrick Maroon. That's about it. Don't really care for Tampa Bay. So no, we can move on from them.
Montreal is, Montreal. It's just a history of dominance, more Stanley Cup titles than anybody. So it's like, and plus, I'm not going to root for a Canadian team. It's just not going to happen.
No.
And then Vegas has quickly gone from the best story in all of sports to the most annoying story in all of sports.
Yeah.
I'm tired of them, and I'm tired of just all of it. So to me, like the Islanders, and I saw that Tom's in the comments saying Trotz might be the best coach in the NHL. I love Barry Trotz. Yeah. I think he's tremendous. I like how that team just doesn't have a superstar, but it's just 4 lines deep, and they'll just absolutely bang you every night. The fourth line is probably the most famous fourth line right now in the league, just because it's been the same 3 guys for a decade. Like, they're just a fun team in a great environment. That barn in Long Island, it's just a fun team to watch.
I actually look at that fourth line a little bit like the Blues fourth line in 2019. Mm-hmm. Kind of a banger. Well, I mean, I know these guys are a little bit older, but the things they do, the way they play, kind of, they're going to hit you everywhere. They're going to take advantage of opportunities and don't make a lot of mistakes. Now, obviously, since 2019, it's been changed.
Like how often do you see teams deploying their fourth line against other teams' top scorers? It just doesn't happen very often, but that unit is out there getting tough matchups, and they could score a little bit. I think it was Casey Cizikas who centers that line, who had the overtime winner in the last series, one of the games against Boston. So, it's just a fun team to watch as a whole, and I'm really, really pulling for them. They won earlier today at Tampa, so good start for the Island.
Yeah, that's a big win. 2-1 win in Tampa Bay puts the Islanders up 1-0. I didn't see it, but I sounds like the game, the go-ahead goal, I guess the game-winning goal at 2-0 was kind of a weak one given up by Vasilevsky. It's a little bit surprising because he's been really good. I think it was the Polak goal in the third period. It was kind of a weak one. I didn't see it. I know a lot of people are talking about how that one should have been stopped, and obviously,
I will say this, and I know that you could point to that and say, okay, maybe it was a little fluky. The Islanders led in this game for about 27 minutes.
Yeah.
For context, the Hurricanes led for 20-ish minutes for the entire last series.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the Islanders played well today, and I think that they're going to make Tampa Bay have to work just because they're a team that doesn't give up very many actually good scoring opportunities.
Right. So now in the other series, Montreal has actually won 7 straight games dating back to that series against Toronto. They swept Winnipeg. I mean, Winnipeg, to me, is no good. Yeah. But they still had to go win 4 games. Vegas had a rough, tough 6-game series. I mean, we still got to favor Vegas here, right?
Oh, big time. I think they're huge favorites. Keep in mind that these Canadian teams have only played each other.
Yeah, all year.
The Canadians, when's the last time that the Canadians even crossed the border?
They haven't, have they?
I mean, it's just going to be such an overwhelming team to face, an overwhelming experience. I truly wouldn't be shocked at all if Vegas sweeps through this series with relative ease. And I know that Montreal has really sort of disproved a lot of the haters the last couple weeks, but I think Vegas absolutely massacres them. I think Montreal will be lucky to get a game in this series.
Yeah. So that kind of wraps up the NHL talk. We're about 16 minutes or so left here. So we got a couple things we want to get to. Let's go ahead and get to the gutless choking dog of the week.
Do you have one, by the way?
I do not have one. Do you?
I have. Well, I guess you could say a couple, honestly.
I mean, I could call the St. Louis Cardinals, but I could do that like 2 weeks in a row now.
That was one of them. The Cardinals, who I'm pretty sure at the beginning of May or middle of May, there were some people who were like, ooh, could Tony La Russa face his former team in the World Series?
Yeah.
And now they're in 4th place. They're a game under 500. They just got swept in Chicago by the Cubs. I don't know how you do it right now. It is an absolutely brutal team to watch.
Well, here's a little context on that. With me being gone and busy, I look back because you and I were talking about this before the show started. I have not watched a game, and you know me, like I love to watch the Cardinals, and I'll try.
Oh, you live tweet every other batter, of course.
Yeah, and I'll try to watch as many as I can, especially when things are going well. But I went back through the scores. And I have not actually seen a Cardinal game on TV since May 29th.
Okay.
Since that point, they're 2-11.
You're the problem.
Yeah, maybe. I saw them beat Arizona, and then they lost from there. They lost the next night. They beat Cleveland once, and they beat the Dodgers once during that time. But they were swept to Cincinnati. They were swept by the Cubs. They didn't play well against the Dodgers. They didn't play well against Cleveland. So maybe I got to watch the games again. But the problem is, like, it doesn't get dark here till like 9 o'clock. Like, we're just not sitting around watching Cardinal games right now.
I totally understand.
It's just not. It's just not. But
what you can do, you can be like our buddy Michael, and you could get a projector and put it on the side of your shed.
Yeah, but you know what that is?
Pretentious.
That's nerdy.
It is nerdy. Yeah.
You got to be a great big giant nerd to do that.
Nerds, and that's a violation of the rule. By the way, Tom, this is a normal sized mic. I got a weird setup down here. I'm not on an actual table, so I got to hold my mic. But
that's a good looking mic. Who's your GCD of the week? Gutless choking dog.
I mean, it has to be Nikola Jokic. Since being named the MVP, and congratulations to him, by the way, he is about to get swept out of the playoffs, and he got ejected in an elimination game.
I mean, he had 32, 20, and 10 the other night, though.
How about win the game? I mean...
Yeah, I mean, stats are nerdy.
I mean, and yeah, you're throwing up stats, and don't get me wrong, great player, deserved to win the MVP. I think he certainly did. But don't get swept out of the playoffs and then get ejected when your team absolutely needs you to win when you're at home.
I don't know. Did he deserve it?
Did he deserve the GCD? Did he deserve the MVP?
Getting thrown out.
Oh, yeah, kind of did. Got into it with Cameron Payne, and it was a whole thing.
I mean, Cameron Payne becomes the hero there.
Yeah, he does. And Cameron Payne has honestly been incredible for this entire postseason. And he was literally playing for the Windy City Bulls not too long ago.
109-103 right now. Phoenix leads with just over 4 minutes. You may have a different score. You're a little bit live there on the TV. That's what my score app says. So Phoenix.
I'm bumming Skeeter's YouTube TV right now. It is 109-103 on my end. So I'm going through the stream still.
Yeah. Anyway, so that any other GCDs of the week?
I think that's it for now, Rodney. But if there's any more between now and 9:30, I'll be sure to let you know.
Sounds good. Wait, do we want to move to see a time, or do we want to wait a few minutes? Still got about 13 minutes because we don't go any longer than 30 minutes here
I'll tell you this. I have far fewer SIAs this week than I did a few days ago when we basically had a week's worth. So we got a few minutes here.
Yeah, I know you mentioned something about some the Hall of Decency.
Yes,
that's something you and I have kind of talked about a few times. Let's go ahead and introduce it. We can keep it rolling over the next couple weeks.
Back when Rodney and I used to be on terrestrial radio together on the final hour of the Jim Matson Show,
sponsored by Penn Station East Coast Subs.
That was good. Yes. Rodney and I don't know how it started, but we came up with the Hall of Decency. And what the overall explanation is you always hear Hall of Very Good. You have the Hall of Fame, but then the Hall of Very Good. But what's even below the Hall of Very Good? Where it's guys that we'll all know, be like, oh yeah, he was pretty good. He was decent. Hence the Hall of Decency. And we decided that Peoria, Illinois would be the home of the Hall of Decency because Peoria, generally speaking, is a decent town.
Decent.
So I was like, hey, Rodney, you haven't watched sports in a couple weeks. That's fine. Why don't we just bring back the Hall of Decency? Just throw out some names that come to mind of guys that you know for sure that are playing today that when their career's done are first ballot into the Hall of Decency.
Somebody like Danny Green.
Danny Green. I think that's a great one. Danny Green, who never put up great numbers, but yeah, he has a few titles, and we're going to remember him. Yeah, he was a good shooter. I was going to say Jay Crowder.
Yeah. Yeah, Jay Crowder, going to have a long career, going to have a successful career, a guy that can score, a guy that can score or shoot it.
Every playoff team needs a guy like a Jay Crowder, but he's always the fifth best scoring option on that given team. But he's a decent player.
I mean, I know right now he's one of the better scorers in the league, but what about Chris Middleton by the time it's all said and done?
Chris Middleton's interesting because he does have all-star appearances.
Yeah.
I wonder if Chris Middleton might be teetering on Hall of Very Good as opposed to Hall of Decency.
Yeah.
But Brooke Lopez might be Hall of Decency.
Yeah, I can see that.
by the time his career is done.
I can see that. Trying to think who else here.
I'm trying, yeah, and you can think of guys that are like playing now that are fresh to mind. Like, I don't know if Joe Harris even qualifies for Hall of Decency. He might not have as long enough of a career because I like the guys that are like, oh yeah, the guy's just been doing his thing for 10 years. He's been a good player.
Yeah. I mean, you look at a lot of the Denver guys right now, and they're not really to any of the halls yet. We're still trying to figure out which direction they're gonna go.
I'm almost 100% sure, Rodney, that this whole Hall of Decency, the first name we mentioned like 5 years ago was Paul Millsap. Speaking of those Denver guys, like Paul Millsap to me is he might be the first player inducted into the Hall of Decency.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, Blake Griffin's Hall of Very Good, right? Yeah,
definitely Hall of Very Good for Blake.
Yeah. So somebody not quite that good, but somebody that is kind of teetering on maybe being, trying to think in the 8 teams that we have remaining here, who else would be on that list? You have any other names?
Joe Ingles.
Yeah. I like that one. Joe Ingles. What about, where's Tobias Harris going to sit when his career's all said and done?
Oh, that's an excellent question. Now, Tobias Harris, if you asked me 4 years ago, I would say Hall of Decency. But I wonder about Tobias Harris eventually ending up in the Hall of Very Good. I'm serious.
Yeah.
He's an excellent basketball player.
He was drafted 10 years ago. So, he's 28. He still may have another 5 to 7 years left in his career,
if he retires today, if he retires today, he's probably looking at decency. 5 years from now, that could change.
Yeah, I agree with that. So Philadelphia's really got, what about Dwight Howard?
Oh, Dwight's got to be Hall of Very Good. He was the best center in the league for a time.
Yeah, for a while, and now he's become decent.
Yeah, like his post-Magic career is probably worth Hall of Decency, but the Magic career alone and leading a team to an NBA Finals and being the unquestioned best center in the league has to put him in the Hall of Very Good.
Tim, say hi to Aaron.
What's up, Aaron? He's got he says Pistons legend, but he didn't say who the Pistons legend was.
Blake Griffin.
Oh, Blake, yeah. I will say that probably the Detroit Pistons franchise as a whole is Hall of Decency.
Yeah, I guess. I'm looking at that Atlanta Hawks roster.
Oh, the Hawks are just chocked full of guys. I would imagine that Danilo Gallinari would be a great Hall of Decency guy.
Yeah, I like that. I was looking at, obviously Trae Young's going to be better. We expect him to be much better than that. Clint Capella is too young to figure that out, probably. He's only been in the league 7 years or so. He's got another 7 to 8 left, possibly. Is he going to border? Is he going to be very good? Is he going to be decency?
I think Clint Capella will probably end up being Hall of Decency by the time his career's done. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's think of some more before we come on next week. And as guys jump in here, they can throw. I think Aaron's got a point here. He was actually talking about Tobias Harris, and I forgot he played for the Pistons.
I did too. Completely, utterly forgot. Again, Pistons, decent franchise, couple rings, good for them.
Yeah, good for them. All right, let's move to the See Ya time. It is See Ya time. We're going to introduce it real quick. Anything between the last show and this show, last time I was on this show, I was on the water somewhere there in Fort Lauderdale, and you were done with the golf outing, and you couldn't even think straight. So let's move to See Ya time, where Tim gives a list of guys that have been, quote unquote, eliminated during the week. Either they've been hurt, they've been fired, they've been released, or just plain gone somehow, some way.
I apologize in advance for probably the first half of this list. I had some reaches, Rodney, and I hope you're okay because I did venture off the sports world for a few of these.
Well, then I probably have no idea who you're talking about.
All right. The first See Ya is Dak Prescott's Adidas deal.
See Ya, Dak Prescott's Adidas deal.
Who's he going now?
Who's it? Nike?
I think so.
Yeah.
I put that down. I put that down probably 90 seconds after we signed off the air on Wednesday. I got a notification, so I was like, "All right, I'll get a jump start on Sunday."
I like how you do the homework for this. I really like that. That's good. You do your homework for the show. I appreciate that.
That's right. Well, someone's got to. After you're there just soaking it up in the sun, playing baseball all day, some of us have to work.
Yeah, and then you were like, "Oh, hey, what are we gonna do tonight?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, we got a show in like 12 minutes."
I'm glad you answered me this time. Unlike last Sunday. Asshole.
Sorry.
Yeah. See ya, Chris Harrison.
Yeah, what's he gonna do?
Well, he took a fat multi-million-dollar buyout, so he's done with the Bachelor franchise.
Yeah, but I think there's something. I think there's more to that. But if if they paid him off to leave, I still feel like there's something to that.
The whole thing is weird. I'm kind of over the whole Bachelor franchise, to be honest with you. And then so what they're doing is they're doing a whole rotation of guest hosts for Paradise this summer. So like Lance Bass, David Spade, Lil Jon, and then one other person are all going to be rotating guest hosts in Paradise. Like, I don't know what we're trying to do here.
Didn't Chris Harrison have like some kind of? Didn't he get in trouble for racism?
Well, that's the whole reason why he was on leave, because he was like, I don't know what the big idea is with all of you people complaining about race. I think us white people are doing great. Paraphrasing here, but
all right, let's move on.
More or less that. So he gone. Next, Jake Bowers. He was traded, I think. See ya, El Chapo's wife.
What happened?
Found guilty for some counts of something. I mean, she was married to El Chapo. Clearly, she was involved in the family business, Rodney. Obviously.
See ya, El Chapo's wife.
See ya, Nick Madrigal. That one sucks.
Yeah, that one really hurt Skeeter, too. He was bummed.
Yeah.
He was crushed.
See ya, Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah, man. That one was
choke job.
Brutal. I don't know what happened there. They did. That's just bad. I mean, how do you go up? How do you play so well in St. Louis against St. Louis? I know St. Louis wasn't very good, and then just nothing. Like you were up 2-0.
Vegas for 2 games, and then you just roll over and die. I don't know. I think Grubauer became Grubauer, and I think Vegas is just deeper. I think they figured out how to keep up with that first line.
I was a pretty big fan of. Gosh, I lost my. So yeah. I mean, McKinnon's line didn't do anything after the first couple games. So,
yeah, they shut him down real good. See ya, Pascal Siakam getting some procedure done. He might be unavailable for the start of the season.
Bye.
See ya, Serge Ibaka, who's done for the rest of the playoffs.
Yeah. Oops.
Did you know he was on the Clippers?
I did, yeah.
See ya, critical race theory classes in Florida.
Okay.
So they used to teach critical race theory to basically show like, hey, this is how the system goes against non-white people. And then Florida was like, the kids don't need to know that. Let's just give them the white people version of history.
So, okay. We got about 2.5 minutes.
See ya, Max Scherzer.
Yeah, that stinks.
I think he's okay.
Yeah, I think so too. They gotta trade him.
See ya, Rafael Nadal. Lost on clay, Rodney. Can you believe that?
Can't believe it.
Crazy.
All right.
See ya, Christian Eriksen. He was that dude from Denmark that had like just collapsed.
Yeah, that's not good. Hopefully he's okay today.
I think so, but he's on the see ya list. See ya, Danny Green.
Yeah. That's a big loss, though. It's the guy that can come in and score a little bit.
See ya. I don't know his name, but see ya, Tsitsipas. He's the guy that lost Djokovic today in the French Open final. Congrats, by the way, to the Joker. 1 major away now from Federer and Nadal.
He's good.
See ya, Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, see ya, Kyrie. When do you think he'll be back?
He might be back next game. I mean, they said the MRI came back clean, but who knows? He'll probably go on some vision quest between now and Tuesday. Miss the game. Personal reasons. See ya, Nikola Jokic.
Yeah,
kicked out of today's game, and his season appears to be 1 minute and 57 seconds away, which leads me to my final see ya. And I'm calling it early, even though we still got a couple minutes left. See ya, the Denver Nuggets.
Rough sports week for Denver and the state of Colorado. Ouch.
Awful. And then you just have the existence of the Rockies, which that can't be fun.
Yeah, but I mean, St. Louis isn't doing much better here, buddy.
No, not at all. I think you got to start watching games. I'm serious. I'll legitimately believe, as a superstitious person, naturally, you are the problem.
All right. Hey, there's 6 games back. We'll see what happens. I'll start watching a little bit more game. See what happens. I don't know, though. I'm pretty busy again this week at nights. I don't know, man.
Yeah. Listen, all you need to do is just ask Cardinals fans, just package, Carpenter and Carlos Martinez together for Max Scherzer. You'll be fine. That's all you need to do.
Yeah. Well, looks like we got our comment here. All-Star game, at least. I don't know.
No, for Colorado. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Having the All-Star game was just so amazing. Incredible.
Yeah. Tim, it's been real, buddy.
We'll do it again on Wednesday.
Sounds good. I'll be here. I'll be a little more prepared. Maybe I'll watch a little sports this week to get myself prepared.
You know what? Or don't be. It doesn't matter. The kids are in bed. They don't need to know how many sports you watch.
That's true. I'm going to try a different outro video. Let's watch this one. Until next time, Tim, thanks for joining me. We'll give it a shot. We'll give it a shot. Maybe that isn't going to work. I don't know. I thought it was going to be a video.
Let's try it.
Apparently not. I'm clicking it. It's not working. All right. We're going to have to try a different outro video. Sorry, guys. Anyways, I'm Rodney. He's Tim, Air, Jordan, Van Stratton. So long for just a while. This is Sports 2.0 Network back on Wednesday right here on Sports 2.0 Network.